Okay, class, we start out with the perception of pain. Nociceptors. Keep that word in mind. Nociceptors. Pain is a warning signal. Now, let me just kind of say on a clinical level. Okay, you come to the emergency room. You're in tremendous pain. Let's say abdominal pain. When you get there, they're going to try to get you in because, in the emergency room, we do what we call triage. It's not first come, first serve. It's who's the sickest. So if the admitting people feel that you're very sick, they'll carry you back even in front of somebody that's been there for an hour or two. So you go back there and you're tremendous pain. So you're telling, you got this pain. Give me something for pain. Give me something for pain. Now, you're going to be very upset because they can't give you something right away. Because if they hit you with morphine or something like that there, Demerol, the pain might go away. It would subside a lot. It may not go zero. But then suppose you had an appendix that was rupturing or had ruptured. The minute you feel no more pain, what does that mean? That means that thing could rupture all the way. You could get sepsis inside of you called peritonitis and you'd be dead. And you just slip away with no pain, be dead. Okay, I'll give you another example. In childbirth, I'm an OBGYN. If we came in and we had an epidural in and we give the patient, keep injecting them, and we tell them, okay, now look at this fetal monitor. When you see the fetal monitor show this signal, you won't really feel pain, but your uterus is contracted. We've taken the pain away. Push, push, push at that point in time. Okay? So a compliant person will, but a non-compliant feeling no pain, they ain't gonna push, and the kid will stay up in there. Now, in child delivery, if the mouth of your womb opens up and you don't push it out, the kid is going to start suffering, having some big problems up in there, and then we'd have to C-section. So what do we have to do? Now we don't inject the epidural anymore. You start feeling pain because now that's going to force you to push. So pain is a warning sign. Sometimes we don't want it to go away. So it warns of actual or impending tissue damage. Stimuli include extreme pressure, temperature, very high temperatures, histamine, which is a vasodilator, but it's irritating, high potassium, ATP, acids, bradykinin. Bradykinin is a cytokine. Impulses travel on fibers that release a neurotransmitter, particularly this thing called substance P for pain. Substance P. But glutamate can also do it too. Glutamate and aspartate do EPSPs. Okay. Some pain impulses are blocked by inhibitory endogenous opioids. Now that takes me to something here. Your book I don't think gets into this. Okay, these two guys here are called Melzack and Walls. And in the 1960s, they came up with a famous reasoning as to why certain things like medications could block pain. But even though, think about this, rubbing something. So you just got slapped, but you rub it, and it doesn't feel that bad now. You just got cut, and you rub across a little bit around it, doesn't feel that bad. What is it? You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that there. Massage might take it away. So they call it the gate theory. You gate not pain. It's called the famous Melzack and Wall gate theory. I'm not sure it's in the book. The gate theory, Melzack and Wall explains why pain can be blocked by drugs, competing stimuli as in acupuncture, of even the expectation of treatment effects. Two sensory pathways from organ to brain. Pain stimulus equals tissue damage. Okay, here's kind of the thing. A gate, I'm going to go up a little bit here. Okay, a gate in the substantia, that's an area in the brain of the dorsal horn, can be opened or closed. Now the substantia gelatinosa, I don't want to get too fancy. I know you're thinking, oh my God, he's way out there now. The substantia gelatinosa, I didn't get into that because that's above your level, but I'm going to show you here what we're talking about. Okay, here's the substantia gelatinosa. That's that area. Remember, all sensory comes in through the back. So right here, it could be blocked as it's coming into the spinal cord in this area. Now, that's a little bit above this, outside your textbook range. Substantia gelatinosa. I'm just showing you some stuff now, since you're going clinical. I'm a doctor. So what happens is, let me get back here. So what happens is in this, a gate in the substantia of the dorsal horn can be open or closed, blocking pain. The gates can be closed by descending signals from the brain. So the brain comes down and tries to block the signal. You're consciously what? Trying to block the signal. Or by the balance of activity in the A fibers and the C fibers. Okay, now this is what, see, knowledge in physiology and A&P builds on knowledge. Remember we talked about the types of neurons according to speed. The A neurons were big ones. They were myelinated and big. Stuff traveled fast. The B were intermediate and the C were the small, not myelinated. So there's a balance of stuff coming in from the A fibers, which are generally the ones coming kind of from the brain, and the C. A beta fibers produce touch sensations. Okay. Now those are the big boys. That would be like you rubbing something. C produce a dull, diffuse pain. So in other words, you could have the A fiber, let's put it like this, come in and block the thin C fiber. Other factors influencing gait and attention. See, if your attention is on something else, in other words, you're working on this and you get a little pinprick. If your attention is strong on my lecture here, you may not notice it much. Emotional and cognitive factors. Emotions can change it. You may not even experience something. If your mom just died, you may not even think about something insignificant. Physical factors. Okay. TENS units, acupuncture. So it gates it out. Now that's one activity. That's the Melnick and Wall's gate theory. All right. Here's another thing that can happen with the opioid. The opioid decreases the RAF. Now I want you to think about that. Remember the reticular activating system. The RAF keeps this area in the brain awake. Let's go back here. So we're putting a lot of stuff together here. The RAF keeps this awake. So if we look at the RAF fibers, let's see where. If we look at the RAF, reticular activating formation, where did we put that there? Then there we are. And remember, it's keeping the firing frequency of the RAF determines your states of consciousness. The firing frequency of the RAF determines your states of consciousness. Remember that? Alertness, drowsy, stupor, coma. So if the RAF was suppressed. Now, what did I tell you can suppress the RAF? Narcotics. So if the RAF gets suppressed somewhat, even if the pain is coming in through the various tracts, this portion of the brain is kind of sleepy. So it doesn't interpret the pain. So even though it's coming in, it doesn't. So see, Melnick and Walls is one thing, and that happens more in the midbrain and spinal cord. But also you can suppress it up higher. You see what I'm saying? Now, medications like, for example, your NSAIDs, like Motrin and Advil, they primarily do it at the site here. They don't make you drowsy. But the opioids, Demerol, morphine, all that stuff works at the brain level and also can work at the Melnick and Wall. But Melnick and Wall's theory has to do more with blocking it based on acupuncture and other things. Okay. So anyway, that kind of gives you an idea on pain. A little idea on pain there. All right. So I'm going to start one more video to do structure of a nerve, and then okay.